Hi, my name is Briana, and I've been a part of Grace and Peace for about 3 years now. Growing up, I was a pastor's kid. Both of my parents were heavily involved in ministry, and so church was just all that I knew. We were always in church for worship conferences or prayer meetings, day in, day out. So it was just something that I became used to, kind of numb to. So I wouldn't exactly say that I had a intimate relationship with the Lord at that time. As I was growing up, I struggled a lot with my identity. I knew that I was different from those who surrounded me growing up in the Austin area, and I was bullied a lot because of it. I wasn't accepted by a lot of family members and friends. People just like pick on me because of those differences. And those differences were things that I loved about myself, but also I wanted people to accept me for who I was at the same time. And so that was really difficult for me. And because of that, I kind of got this nickname Mute, because I just stopped talking to others. I was always afraid to share myself to others in fear that I would be rejected. I remember like significant moments growing up on the west side of Chicago where I would just be sitting on my porch crocheting or reading a book or looking at colleges, and this was even starting in the 3rd grade. And I would have kids riding their bikes down the street calling me a nerd or an old lady, and those words hurt. So I didn't have many friends growing up or people that I could really depend on. I think it was about 2010, my sophomore year, where the Lord really spoke to me for the first time, and I started to develop that intimate relationship with Him. I had attended a conference for some young women at a church, and it was overnight. And in that night, when they were preaching and just sharing testimonies, the Lord really just spoke to me so loudly that I could not ignore it. And He revealed to me like my purpose and identity, and that He shaped me for a reason, the things that people bully me for that He was going to use. And so I was just like, okay, God, this is hard, but I'm going to give it to you. And so I did for quite a while. From 2010 all throughout college, I went to school for ministry. I've traveled the nations and did all these things. Until 2019 hit. This was the year right before the pandemic. I had some very hard things happen to me that year. A lot of relationships lost, a lot of things where I gave myself to people and had things ripped away from me. Trust, dignity, respect. I just entered into the season where I was confused in my identity. I was angry with God, wondering why would He allow those things to happen to me in those moments. It became so bad I fell deep into depression. I even struggled a lot with suicidal thoughts because of how bad it had gotten, and made attempts through drinking. I remember even one night I got up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning and ran bath water, and as I was sitting there in the bathtub, I thought about just letting myself drown in that moment, and that nobody would care because people just would take from me. They would take away as I give. And so that was a really hard year. I wanted nothing to do with God because I kept feeling like He was calling me into places and things were being ripped away from me. I wanted to walk away from Christianity. And it was right then and there that year God led me to Grace and Peace. And I joined the community group with Pastor John Eric and his wife Anais. And in that time, I was at their house every single week, fellowshipping with them, learning from them. And I could see God building me up once again into that person who I was when I first created that relationship with Him. And honestly, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be here today. They helped bring me back into that place where God was able to speak to me and show me that I was accepted and that I was loved. And I couldn't be more grateful for that, because that led me to a place where the next year I was able to meet my husband, who has become my best friend and has accepted all of me, where I haven't had to change anything. And so this church has been a blessing in accepting my identity and who I am. And this is my story, and I'm just so glad to be able to share it. My name is Briana. I have seen the Lord, and He has accepted me.